everything is good. It looks that way, but Fuji is coming over here, so I'm not sure what is what. Okay. All right. Okay, so let me see. All right, so we're on the live and everything. Yes, so let me go again. Let me take that from the top. So good evening and welcome to yet another edition of Teachers Talk. I am your host, Fiona Charles Williams, the PR of the St. Vincent and Grenadines Teachers Union. And it is a special program today. It is July the 13th. You know we usually don't do back-to-back programs, but when we have special people with us, we owe them a program. So we have special people with us. We have, well guys, you know I love to talk about my handsome gentlemen, but today that is not the case. I have some gorgeous ladies in the studio with me today. So those of you who did not register for our workshop, you're going to be missing out. These ladies are gorgeous, they're bright, they're bubbly and everything. So I'm just going to stop talking for now. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and then we will go and we will start talking about our workshop theme, Teaching Together. So that's the theme of the program, Teaching Together, and we're going to talk about teaching together. So I am looking at gorgeous ladies, and I'm going to start on my immediate right, and then we're going all the way to the left. So go right ahead.
Hi, good evening. My name is Marcia Thompson. I'm one of the representatives from the Canadian Teachers Federation.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Rachel Thiessen, and I'm also from the Canadian Teachers Federation.
Hi, I'm Molly Swanson, and like everybody else, I'm from the Canadian Teachers Federation.
And I'm Lori Clement, also from the Canadian Teachers Federation.
So welcome ladies, it's a pleasure having you here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the gem of the Antilles, the best Caribbean country you could be in. Don't argue with me. So so it's great having you here. So ladies, I know, is it your first time and everybody's first time being in St. Vincent?
Yes.
First time in St. Vincent.
Good. So you see, it's their first time. So people, we have to give them a big Vincy hail up, a big Vincy welcome, big on the Vincy hospitality. And let me say to you ladies, I'm very sorry. You're going to be sick of us in a good way, because the Vincentians love to be hospitable, and you're going to get food. You're going to get mangoes, you're going to get fruits, so enjoy it while it lasts. So these lovely ladies are here, as they say, from the Canadian Teachers Federation, and we are talking today about Teaching Together. That's the name of our workshop, our summer workshop, and this year we have 2 full weeks. Usually it's 8 days, but we did a little bit of tweaking, and we have 2 full weeks, and we're starting from tomorrow. And we're going all the way to next week, Friday. So ladies, just tell us a little bit about yourselves. I mean, you can start what your area of expertise is, and you know what you're going to be doing in the workshop, and then we will come back to me. It's not about me, it's about you guys. It's your program right about now. I am just merely what you call the facilitator. So you go right ahead.
Okay, so again, I'm Marcia. I am a grade 4-5 teacher. My area in the program is doing co-teaching with the literacy coach and the math coach, differentiated instruction, which will take in literacy, math and science, differentiating, so we're including all students. No one will be left behind.
Okay, so differentiated instruction, co-teaching, grade 4 and 5, and those are like pretty critical grades in our system, because those are the grades before CPA or huge exam in grade 6, so that's like very important. So I know teachers will be listening in and like, I need to touch base with Marcia. So okay, so let me leave you. Rachel, go ahead. We're coming back to you, Marcia, don't worry.
I'm Rachel, and at home in Manitoba, I work as a high school guidance counselor. I'm in a school of grade 9 to 12 students, but I've taught everything from grade 4 to grade 12. And my area that I'll be working with the co-tutors from St. Vincent's and Grenadines Teachers Union is inclusive education. So how to adapt things for students that may not have the same skills or may have different challenges than other students.
another person that people are going to be on you like white on rice, and that's a good thing here because we always hear about inclusive education, we always talk about inclusive education, but we just can't seem to get it down packed here, and we're glad to have persons here. So go ahead.
Hi, I'm Molly. I'm from the province of Alberta in Canada, and I mostly teach high school biology, and biology, or high school for me, is grade 11 and 12. And my specialty would be using data to inform teaching practice. So using data from things like tests, so formal things, but also from informal things that you do in the classroom to inform where the weaknesses are and where you can go next in your step of teaching.
Listen, I think we should start the workshop today. I mean, I am ready to ask a whole heap of questions, and if I am ready to ask the questions, I can imagine how our teachers would be from tomorrow. So again, as our kids say, and as the term says, prepare to be sick of us. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Again, my name is Lori. At home in Ontario, I teach grade 5 students, but have taught from grade 2 through grade 10, and for a number of years was a computer technology consultant. So I'm very excited to be working with Bria, who is a teacher here in St. Vincent, and together we will be teaching about artificial intelligence with the hope that we will make it a little bit more understandable, a little bit more user-friendly, and really help the teachers here together with help them to understand the benefits of this form of technology.
Yeah, because I mean, now you hear a lot about AI and it's so easy to use AI in the classrooms, but we have teachers who, well, were from the era of probably Saturday morning cartoons. No disrespect. I love Saturday morning cartoons, people, right? And you know, it's a challenge to shift narrative, especially when things come out, and COVID taught us a lot about how to figure that out, and a lot of us were like, okay, you know, doing a trial and error. So it's good to have something that, you know, can cement what we probably picked up, bits and pieces during COVID, and, you know, be able to turn it around. So each of these lovely ladies are working with a local co-tutor, right? So tell me, what has the experience been like working with that person? Anybody can chip in here. Anybody could start.
Well, I think one of the things is that whether you're from here or from Canada, a lot of the problems we face are exactly the same.
So the narrative that is, Canada, USA, England, a first world country, they must have things a little bit easier. They must have children who can work and it, you know, will pick up on things easier.
Children are children.
Okay.
We spent some time talking with Nicole yesterday. She's the co-teacher for math, and she was talking about some of the struggles in math and retention of students, and we find that's exactly the same. Math is a huge struggle for our students at all grade levels, and passing standardized tests and using math for real life. So those are the same problems everywhere. But
are you sure that's the same problem? I mean, I am hearing it. I mean, your face was believable. I'm like, are you really sure? Because like sometimes I'm like, what's happening here? It's like you look on television again and social media, and you see these math whiz, and you're like, gosh, these children must have. And now you're saying, it's the same. So I'm missing something. Fill me in. What am I missing exactly?
Well, it is the same, and I think part of the issue is the funding. I know there's struggles with fundings here in St. Vincent the Grenadines, but I think that's across the board, right? And so if a student misses out and doesn't learn something appropriately in grade 1 or 2, that gap in learning, that stays with them, and it compounds, and that's the same whether you're here or you're in Canada, or I would guess Europe. I haven't taught there, but I would guess that those are the same issues that we deal with in all the different regions.
Okay, right.
So I have been co-planning with Jenna. Will be doing literacy, and I have in the co-planning. Experiences, concerns are similar. children left behind, as Rachel said, if they're not getting it from the kindergarten stage, it continues, it keeps, and it's harder to catch up. And learning literacy, if you can't read, you can't do anything else. You can't do anything else. There will be another subject that's part of life skill, reading. So we'll be doing a lot of phonetics and the holistic language.
So I'm thinking things like Staff Hall, ABC Mouse, Hooked on Phonics, and these things are so accessible to, well, I would like to think, to persons in, in the north, and you would see on television, my son started reading because of Hooked on Phonics, or my son started reading through ABC Mouse, and and I'm thinking, do you really have a reading problem? I'm telling you, it's hard for me to wrap my head around, because I have actually taught several students from whether North America, Canada, Europe. They had to spend a year, 2 years here for whatever reason. And I was always really impressed with their reading level and their ability to articulate what they felt. And I'm like, so
Let's enjoy the best.
So, to hear that we struggle, we have the same set of struggles is pretty surprising to me. Yeah.
I would say one of the things, when I was talking to Nicole, one of the teachers I was co-planning with, she was talking about boys and math, and the math marks dropping off in boys. We are seeing that same trend in Canada, where boys used to excel at math, and they are no longer excelling. Girls are starting to excel at math. So.
And I think
Yes.
I think some of it too, we're seeing the effects of COVID, right?
Right.
And the gaps in schooling,
Right.
where I don't know exactly how it worked here, but our schools were shut down for 3 months, and then when we reopened, you came only every other day, and then some kids were online and some kids were in school.
Right.
And it's really easy when you're online to just put your computer on and not
disappear.
be online.
Yes, I know. We had that experience here.
So I think we're really, right now especially, seeing those gaps in learning
Right.
from the students that were doing their schooling through COVID, and that's a huge part of that effect as well.
Right. Yeah. When COVID hit, we had to, vacate. We had to leave the schools. We had to go home, and then instruction had to be online instruction was not online in instruction, because we had to literally, there was nothing in place. So we literally had to figure everything out as school classroom teachers, homeroom teachers, and some did WhatsApp groups, some of us had Zoom account. I think Zoom was forever tired of us, because it's the 45 minutes and then that ended, and you're like, don't come off, we're just gonna go back on, and until you got it done. And then we realized the same thing you were saying, students are online but they're not online. So then you started to insist that you turn on the camera, and then the students one up us and the camera's not working, and different things. And then we really tried. We did the best that we could with the things that we had. And then when we came back, the social distancing was so real, and the mask wearing in school, and not being able to converse as you should or you can with the students. So I think that was that. And yes, you're right, you're now seeing the learning gaps from it. I mean, they probably had prior to COVID, but it wasn't as this
COVID amplified it.
Yeah, yes. And at the time, it was always you could catch up, but then the catch up, or the ability to get caught up, became even harder after COVID, because by then everybody's like, we need to finish the curriculum.
Yes.
But you're finishing a curriculum that has no base and no foundation. So those who got it. Those who didn't, unfortunately, didn't get it. But I am seeing the trend here as well, where girls are excelling in math and science STEM areas, over the boys, and it was always boys as well, and I'm seeing girls taking that step there. I think too, what I'm noticing in our schools is that in the technical areas, we also have girls trying to get involved in the technical areas. We see girls doing things like technical drawing, woodwork, and girls, I have a past student who was awarded for that in her school, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. And it's good to see that girls are progressing in this particular area, but also, you would be concerned that the boys are, just slightly tapering off or dropping instead of like excelling or maintaining that level. So I guess you guys we will have to figure out through data what I don't know how we're gonna figure it out, but we'll figure it out what to do, what are the ways we can help the boys or ways we can help learning. And there's a saying that, we used to have the saying that boys are better at math and girls are better at English. But I'm seeing now, like, some of my best literature students now are actually boys instead of girls. And I'm like, this is pretty interesting. I've never seen that before. I know boys love to read. I have had boys love to read, but in terms of being good literature students, I have never really seen that for the boys because they couldn't articulate. But now I'm seeing that, and I'm like, interesting. I'm wondering what is happening here. So maybe you and I can talk after. And, you can share some ideas with me to figure that one out. Oh, hi, Adriana. Good evening. I'm seeing you on. Adriana is one of our teachers, and she's an avid listener to Teachers Talk. She was on last week on the program, actually, and she's listening and she's locked into us, and it's good to have you, Adriana. Now, ladies, what can we expect in these 2 weeks? Or maybe we could start with the first week and then, we can taper off from there.
I think we can expect some well thought out lessons from the Canadian and SVG TU co-teachers,
right,
and some interactive activities. There'll be movement. You'll be getting up and moving as you do the activities, so that we're activating both our bodies and our brains. And I think you'll see that all of us value quality education for students, and that during these 2 weeks, that's what our goal is, to help walk alongside our partners here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines for the benefit of our teachers as well as the students.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Marcia. I see you're looking to say
Building
something.
relationships.
Building relationships.
Continue to build relationships. Strong collaboration between CTF and St. Vincent Teachers Union, and long-lasting relationships, and what we also can learn. I have been on other projects, and I've always learned from the other co-facilitators. So what I can learn, what we can each partner together to build teaching, international teaching, global teaching, excellent teaching.
Right. Do you usually, when we have these workshops, we have teachers from different schools, all walks of life, all over the island and the Grenadines, and you would hear teachers talking. Is that, value to you, as in talking about what happens in their classrooms, and, how valuable is that to you? And there's a reason why I'm asking that question. How valuable is that to you?
That's absolutely valuable. I think it's valuable for us to learn about the current situation here and the struggles and challenges, and with our co-teachers to adapt whatever has been planned over the last few days. But I think it's also important for those teachers to build relationships and to talk about their situations, and to know that there's others feeling the same, and to find ways of supporting each other.
Okay, yes, we're definitely not alone. Because sometimes you are experiencing a situation as a teacher, and you're like, what is going on here? I don't get it. This student is, or this student does. And, a teacher might be like, I had a student did me that once, and I did X, Y, Z, or I said, And that collaborative learning is what we need in order to help each other as teachers. It's not, sometimes as teachers we are in the classroom by ourselves and we tend to think it's just a one-man job. And we don't realize sometimes that that collaboration, that building of relationships helps and so on. Now, I realized through talking with you ladies that we have primary school and we have, we call secondary school, not high school, but same basically. Primary school and high school student teachers here, or workers, facilitators, however you call yourselves here. And usually when we have this workshop, our teachers will tend to think, oh, it's just for the primary school teachers. Let's do away. Let's try to do away with that fallacy or that misrepresentation or the misinterpretation, and let's tell them why it's important for secondary school teachers to be a part of this workshop as well.
Well, I think primarily we're teachers as well. So when we talk about boys doing well or girls doing well, we're seeing the same things. When we talk about lack of reading ability that has built or has not built as much as it should have as they went through primary school,
Right.
we're seeing the same thing. So the problems they're having at primary school, we still see at a high school
Right.
level. So literacy continues to be important. Gender equity continues to be important. Differentiation continues to be important. They go across all levels of learning.
Okay. And do you think, sometimes you would hear, I have taught at both levels. I have taught at primary level and I'm now teaching at the secondary level. And I am putting myself on the spot here now, so this is full disclosure, people. I would hear teachers, mainly in the secondary schools, say, I don't understand how you can spend 7 years in primary school and not be able to read. And or can't do basic math or, basic science concepts and different things like that. And, sometimes it would be like, what's happening in primary school? And I would turn to them and say, a lot was happening in primary school. I said it's so easy to cast blame or blame game, and there's no blame game in this. I said the same problem, I would tell them, the same problem that you face in secondary school with students. Primary school teachers face it with the students and parents as well, because at that stage of their development, parents are very coddling and they don't want their child to do this, they don't want their if you try to get the child to do certain things, no, you're being too hard and different things like that. And teachers, obviously trying to save themselves and, keep their job, will be like, okay, let's not rock the boat a little bit too much here, and, things happen. So, is it that same experience that you would have, from, is it elementary, middle school, and high school?
Yeah.
Yes. Is it that same sort of experience you would have?
I think so. I think it's very similar, and I think one of the things is students who struggle have often learned tricks to not show that they're struggling. And so if you're in a large class, if you're teaching 30 to 35 students
on your own
with no support, those students who are struggling, you might miss it, not because you haven't been trying to teach these things and not working on these skills, but students that don't necessarily meet the level that the classmates do have learned skills to adapt to that and to not necessarily succeed, but to survive. So it looks like they can read, but maybe they're just not very academic, so their marks are a little bit lower. Or they can do math, but they're not great at math, so their marks are just a little bit lower.
Just average,
And so I think that's one of the reasons it's really important for secondary teachers to be there as well, because what do you do then when you have a student that comes that is missing math skills or literacy skills? How do you as a secondary teacher in your secondary subjects help those students gain those skills that they've missed along the way?
Right, yeah. Because, sometimes you're in a class and you don't, I term it functionally literate. They function so well that you miss the fact that they can't. So it's not until perhaps you have a one-on-one or you do end of term tests and you see the grades, you realize, wait a minute, the student did the multiple choice, but things that require essay type structured questions they didn't answer. And then when you ask, you go back to the student, you realize, they're struggling to read. How did this happen? How did I miss this? And I would tell persons coming from a large primary school, because I taught at a primary school where it was me alone with 40 plus children, it is easy. It's extremely easy to miss because you're doing read aloud and these children are very tight knit. So Sam realizes that Bill doesn't know the answer, so Sam shoots Bill the answer.
We have that as well.
Yeah, that kind of thing, Or Sam drops his pencil on the ground and just shifts the book a little bit so that, you can copy different things, as you say, tricks, So it's good to see and it's good to know that we're in the same boat.
Yes.
We're in the same boat.
Also, what we need to realize is that there are many students are often late bloomers.
Right.
So sometimes we need to step back a little, but the important thing is to recognize who maybe, slip in between the cracks.
Right. And then I think one of the things too is that in our culture, education is really valued in terms of getting to a particular secondary school. You want to be in this particular secondary school. So when you say to parents sometimes, well, I don't think that Rachel is working at this level at this time, and perhaps Rachel needs a little extra help, or Rachel needs to spend another year, doing the same concept. Parents don't want to hear that because they do not wish to hear sometimes that their children are struggling. I mean, everybody wants to think that they have a very highly intelligent, highly academic child. And I would say to parents sometimes, listen, I'm not questioning their intelligence because there are different types of intelligence and your child is intelligent. It's just that for this particular requirement, they're struggling and we just need to get them some help for that. And I think sometimes parents struggle hearing that. They don't want to hear that. So,
And that's a struggle for us as well. We have students who feel the need to graduate on time.
Right.
And even though they may be struggling or maybe need to take it at a slower pace, they want to graduate with their friends. They want to. We don't have tests or exams to get into the next school until after grade 12, where you're going into university.
Right.
But sometimes it's okay to slow it down, and it's okay to not graduate with your peers, to take that extra time, maybe go back and take that math class that you didn't do well in grade 10, so you actually have the foundation.
Right.
And I think that's the struggle all along. We want to present well, we want to be at the same level as our peers, and we all learn at different rates. We all catch on to things at different rates.
Right. Yeah.
In the province that I'm in, for example, in math at high school, we would have 2 levels, and lots of times kids want to be in the top level when really the middle level, we call it, would be more appropriate, but they just don't want to be there, even though they would be highly successful there. They just want to be in the top, always.
They just want to be in the top, right. Yeah. And you see, I think we have that same thing here because, some schools are offering an accelerated advanced math, and persons that tend to push towards that. And sometimes as parents we tend to do that as well, because when my daughter wrote CSEC, I was like, you can do the advanced math, and she was like, not having it. Nope. And it's not that she couldn't do it, it's just that she was like, I'm not putting myself through that stress right now. And sometimes we just need to, as parents, listen to our children. I was very annoyed at her that she didn't push herself because she can. And she was like, no, not doing it, not having it. I'm going to do this at my own pace. And it's good for us to understand as parents and as teachers that, children walk at their own pace. So, I still get that lesson time and time again with my children. Come on, miss. just walking at my pace here, just walking at my pace. And your pace needs to pace, but, you know. So for, I'm going to just shift a little bit to this side, and we're going to talk AI for a moment, because my girlfriend over there is pretty quiet. I don't want her to feel a little left out. So artificial intelligence. And I know you and Bria have been working together and, to bring us what can we I'm just so curious, like, are we going to get lesson plans? What exactly are we going to get? Are we going to figure out how to do these lesson plans? Are we going to get actual classroom stuff? What are we going to do?
Okay, yeah, so Bree and I have been working very hard together. I think the most interesting thing is that collectively we're really at the same place, and for myself in Ontario and for her here, that both of us are really exploring AI and what it can do for the teachers. And so we will be providing endless opportunities for lessons, assessments, formative assessment, summative assessment, ways that they can build reading pieces at multiple levels, so work samples. So we're going to be really supporting the teachers in identifying strategies and opportunities for them to develop content in whatever subject they're teaching at whatever grade they're teaching. We are mostly focusing on science and technology, but the benefit of AI is that it's open-ended. And so teachers are going to learn how to ask really good prompts to get really good things back that are specific to them, to their to your culture, the content. So it will be very specific to every participant who's coming.
Okay. So I am going to play devil's advocate here.
Okay.
Sorry, I try
Please.
not to, but okay. What would you say to those persons who would say AI or the use of AI is like cheating the system, and it's dumbing down students and dumbing down, you know what I mean when I say
Yes,
dumbing down?
I do,
Right.
I do.
Dumbing down students and dumbing down learning instead of making it progressive.
Okay, so I believe that just like anything else, there is an opportunity to just ask for something and take it. Just like you can copy and paste from the internet, you can copy and paste from a textbook.
Right.
That opportunity is absolutely there. But what I feel is so valuable about AI is that it actually requires you to think harder, to look more intensely, to get exactly what you're looking for. And if you take that time to put in everything that you want, then you're already showing that level of understanding and the needs that you have, and it's coming back to you. So I think that it's actually, when it's used properly, is going to cause you to deepen your understanding and to think a little bit more intensely about different subjects or whatever the content is that you want. Because the benefit of AI is that it really gives you back what you put into it.
Right.
So you can ask for something, but then you have to read it through, even whether you're a student or a teacher, and identify, is this what I'm looking for? Maybe I need to tweak this or do this a little bit better. So it causes you and to go back at things over and over again to get exactly what you want. And I think sometimes, I can speak for my students in Canada, something they like to do is just take what they see first.
Okay.
So this is forcing them to think critically. It's forcing them to go back over and over again to get exactly what they want. So I think for both teachers and students, there's endless possibilities if it's used in the right way.
Okay, so the language/literature teacher in me here, speaking as a literature and language teacher here, would say, while I generally don't have an issue with AI, what you just said about students just taking it and just putting it there and presenting it as their own work, I have a challenge where
Absolutely.
that is concerned, right?
Yes.
So I would say to the students, listen, I know you didn't write this. Yes, miss, I presented it.
Yeah.
Now, I've been reading your writing for the entire year. Why don't
Exactly.
you pronounce this word for me and tell me what this word is and what this word means?
Exactly.
And they would struggle. I said, this is why I know you didn't write it. So how do we get students to understand and I mean, I know we're supposed to be focusing on teachers here, but remember, our parents are listening and
Right.
students, children
Yes.
will be listening as well. How do we get students to understand that it's important to use AI as a tool
Exactly.
and not a for-all, end-all of all?
I think the most important thing is education, is teaching them, because it is a tool like any other tool. I think if teachers can embrace it and understand what it is and how it works, and they can then pass that instruction and knowledge on to their students. It is definitely something that, as an educator, I feel responsible to work with my students on, because it's out there. So I know it's out there, it's not going away. So I think it's important that we teach how to use it as a tool and not just a one-off resource.
Okay. And then what would you say to our, still being devil's advocate here,
Okay,
I'm sorry.
okay.
What would you say to our teachers who would say, well, you're talking about using technology in the classroom, but the resources are, you know, the things that are required to use technology in the classroom, they're just not there. They're missing in action. Faulty internet, no internet, you know, no laptops or devices, different things like that. Why should we learn this thing or do this thing if we just do not have access to it?
Good question. So with AI, you need a device, whether it's a phone, a tablet, or a computer, and it's really an idea generator. It's not something that you need to have something for every student to use to participate. Now, if you are teaching them how to use it and showing them and demonstrating, it might be more valuable if students also had devices.
Right.
But the things that we're focusing on are really about creating content and assessment pieces and things like that for the educators. So there's also going to be some student programs in there as well that we're going to hopefully help them to recognize and how it can benefit. So just for example, we were looking at, I know you have a test in grade 6,
Right.
and so Bree and I were looking at, it was a question generator. So it would ask a question, if the student got it wrong, and we could put it in specifically for your grade 6 assessment.
Right.
The bot would ask them a question. If they got it wrong, it would prompt them with additional questions. And then it would ask another question. And so it was taking them on a learning journey of question answer and causing them to think about all types of things. So there are many excellent opportunities that don't require, they do require a device, but it doesn't require an entire lab all the time.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. So, don't spin. So you're
Oh,
gonna
okay, well, I
shift forward. You're gonna shift forward. Now we're going on to data collection now.
Right.
yes, I know. And so your part of the workshop is using data to inform learning. Data
Yes, but
collection.
it fits with all the other topics
I
as well.
know.
So I'm using it with math, but using the data to know who you need to differentiate for. Using the data, for example, on a test to see, okay, where are the weak points that kids are getting things wrong on tests. Is this a topic they know well? Is this a topic they don't know well? I mean, it can be used in so many ways. Like
different
data,
ways.
we often think of data as being something that you get printed out by a computer or something like that.
I was just about
But
to
data
ask
can
that.
also be as simple as asking students gives you data. I mean, data information, you get information by asking questions as well. So you can do things as simple as we sometimes do like 1, 2, 3. So like 1 if you're struggling, 2 if you mostly get it, 3 if you're excelling. So that's data as well.
So qualitative
Yeah.
versus quantitative.
Yeah.
So, but so most persons, when they think of that, as you say, would think of the quantitative, not necessarily qualitative. So they're expecting to see like a spreadsheet and something with some sort of information and so. So this is not what we're doing here.
No.
Okay. So we are looking at the qualitative. So the thing is, if usually qualitative data, persons would tend to say it is not as relevant as the quantitative data. So I'm going to put you on the spot here. So people, when I say qualitative data, I mean like basically what she just said, asking questions and, anecdotes, listening to students explain themselves and talk about things, and, you use that data to inform instruction. And a lot of us as classroom teachers have used that to use several things that may have happened within the society and different things like that to inform instructions, because we figure that, they would understand it best if we put it in this way, that sort of way. So just give us the benefits, the wealth of benefits, because trust me, I haven't done this in such a long time, but, anyway, give us a wealth of benefits of using that sort of data to inform instruction.
Well, I mean, I come from a school district that is very heavy on the quantitative. So actually taking the government test exam marks, and they break it down by each question. They can tell you how many boys got it right, how many girls got it right, divided by topic. So we're not doing that. Okay. We're not doing that. So don't worry, that's not what we're doing.
I mean, it can be useful in a sense sometimes, but yeah.
I think that's data that's really important, but it's not always data that's, using that data is not something that's always simple to learn and might not be as usable. Like, we're teaching things that teachers can go back to the classroom and immediately use. So more data like that. So if you're calling it quantitative data and maybe informal data, a lot of the time that's what we're more focusing on, and specifically in math.
Okay, so folks, if you want to know what that is,
I can talk about it.
Come to the workshop. We're not getting that information. No, you're not getting it so easy. You needed to be registered for the workshop and come to the workshop. So ladies, you've been here for almost a week. Since Wednesday. So that's almost, we're counting different days now. We're on vacation, so that's almost a week. I mean, we're on school vacation. So, and it's your first time in St. Vincent. So just give us your impression of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Don't be shy. Don't look like, boy, what if I say the wrong thing here?
It's beautiful.
No.
It's beautiful.
Okay. And I heard tell that you guys went to Beckway yesterday. So somebody give me a little heads up about that. What was that like? What are your impressions of the country so far? Coming from the airport, coming into Kingston, I mean, it's a little different from Canada, where it's like big and stuff happening and so on. So give us a little idea of your impressions.
It's nicer to see sand than snow.
And Beckway, did you guys go to the beach?
We
Come
did.
on, we need
So
information, people.
We went across on the ferry,
which
was a great experience,
Mm-hmm.
and it was great to be able to feel the fresh air and the wind as we went across. And then we went to visit a school, and I want to say it was an Anglican school, but I can't remember the name of it.
In Beckway?
In Beckway.
Beckway, Anglican, yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that was wonderful to see the classrooms. And then we had about an hour and a half tour just on the back of a taxi
nice.
of the island, which was beautiful to see. And we learned about how the whales come in and what happens then. And then we were able to go to a beach. And some of us got to go spend some time in the ocean. It was wonderful.
Some of us. I wonder who didn't take an ocean bath. I am so not surprised. I wonder what. Anyway.
For me, it's like home.
It's like home.
Like Jamaica, so I just chilled with
okay.
while my colleagues had a taste of our wonderful ocean. So for me, it was just relaxing because I'm a CARICOM national as well.
Right. Okay, so you would have been a little bit annoyed with me when I said St. Vincent is the best island there is.
That's debatable. We can debate that another time. All the islands are just they are all beautiful and unique. You're unique.
Right. Good. So, we are hoping that you will get to see a little bit more of St. Vincent outside of the workshop. So, that's why I said to you, don't be surprised if the participants try to tell you, oh, you need to check out this place, and oh, you need to go that place, and so on. I'll try to offer you to carry different places and so on. We're very friendly like that. So ladies, just take some time now and encourage persons to come to the workshop.
You want us to
Yes,
encourage? Come on down.
go right ahead.
We're lovely. We'd love to meet you. We've heard you're friendly and welcoming, and we'd love to meet you. We'd love to learn from you, and we'd love to learn together with you.
Okay, great. Anybody else?
It promises to be 2 wonderful weeks of collaboration, learning from each other, sharing from each other, learning about Canada and the myths about both St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the myths about Canada and learning and education.
Okay,
And
great.
we also promise it's not all lecture. It's also doing, you get to stand up, you get to meet your colleagues, you get to play some games. It's not all lecture.
You get to do some planning, so you might get some ideas. Even if you come, I learned once that if you get one great idea from a workshop that you go to, that it's been worth the time. So I think, come, I'm sure you'll get more than one. I'm sure you're gonna get hundreds of great ideas. But if you walk away with 1 or 2 great ideas, that's awesome. And connections with other people.
Okay, awesome. So ladies, let me thank all of you for coming and for being a part of this workshop. It's been an honor. And it's a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to getting to talk to each and every one of you individually and, get some ideas off of you. And I'm sure the participants will do the same as well. Now, don't go yet, ladies. The men always like to upstage us ladies when we're in the studio. Yes, I know. And the men decided that we ladies need a little security and so on. So they came to make sure that everything is okay. And we don't mind that. We know we're good. We're happy to know that chivalry isn't dead. We're very happy to know that. But we're going to make sure the men come in and have to say their 2 cents and 3 cents. So with us in studio as well is Brother Robbie and Brother Van Ray. Come around, Van Ray. Find yourself somewhere in there. Don't be too shy now, yes. Right? So, yes, they're in studio. So, Van Rick is our first VP and course director of this program. So Van Rick, I'm going to just give you a little time to just, go up to the mic and say what you have to say, encourage persons, tell persons what they're supposed to expect at the workshop, and what things are going to happen.
Thank you, Sister Fiona.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you for having us. And let me first say a pleasant good evening to everyone out there in Radio Land and those who are viewing us live on our Facebook page. Right. Pleasant good afternoon. Let me join you. I know you would have done it before, but let me say it again. Let me welcome our Canadian colleagues, to our beautiful island, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Yeah. We are so honored to have them here, and we appreciate the time that they would have taken from their busy schedule to be here to impart, to share their knowledge, their expertise, their skills with us. The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union, the Ministry of Education and National Reconciliation, and of course the Canadian Teachers Federation. This partnership, this collaboration, which has been going on for umpteen amount of years, and it still is alive and well and kicking. And we are looking forward to our upcoming summer workshop. I'm still saying upcoming, but you'll see folks tomorrow, 14th of July to the 25th of July. 2 weeks, you are going to be having a time of your life. Sounds like a song, but it's actually a time of your life.
It is
right?
a time of your life.
Where we will be looking at different aspects. We have our mathematics, our reading, we have our trade union sessions, our science and technology, and of course within those we have artificial intelligence, research to guide instruction, research data to guide instruction, inclusive education, differentiated education, instruction. We have all those, a packed workshop. So let me encourage each and everyone to come out, be a part of this, take the opportunity to develop yourself and to get that certificate that would be awarded at the end of our program. So let me say welcome again to the Canadians. Let me encourage everyone. I know that we have that registration link. And if you did not take that opportunity to register, I believe it's a little bit too late now because we have that registration link that has closed. But those who have registered, make sure you attend, be on time. We are at the grammar school, St. Vincent Grammar School. We start tomorrow at 8 a.m. We have our opening ceremony, then we'll go on into our session and we continue. So take that opportunity.
8 or 8:30?
Well, of course, I want to say 8 because let me not talk about the Vincentian culture.
No.
All right? So early is better, but of course, our first session will begin about 8:45 or so, but of course we must give thanks to God, so we would have our devotion. We would have our Minister of Education there to
Right.
give some remarks, President remarks, and of course our Canadian colleagues. So make sure again, those of you who are there listening, those who are viewing, take the opportunity, come out tomorrow, be on time, St. Vincent Grammar School. We will see you there and we look forward to having you. I don't want to take all the time because I know Brother Rob needs some of that time as well. All right, so I'm here. Let me hand over to Brother Rob.
Brother Robbie.
Okay,
Careful. Oh, thank you.
okay. Pleasant good evening to St. Vincent and Grenadines and our hard-working, dedicated teachers. I don't know if the PR would have said that one of our teachers passed early last week. Yes, a very young, talented teacher who passed, and we want to use this opportunity to express our deepest condolences to the principal, the staff, the parents, the guardian, the school community, and also to the family and relatives of Iran De Silva. Right, and to his young daughter who has just topped the school in the CPA exam, and she would be going to secondary school without the father in her life. It's very sad, and we do share your moments of bereavement. Yeah, it's a sad note. It's good to be here. We want to commend you for a great program again, and we want to thank our course director for leading us through this journey with our Canadian sisters. Long ago, we used to have a brother coming from Canada. Yeah, but they're our sisters, and we are very happy that they're here. As you know, the relationship with SVGTU and Canada started many decades ago. We have close to 60 years of working together.
Right.
When the teacher strike in 1975, the Canadians were here. And the government of St. Vincent and Grenadines tried to get rid of the trade union component in the workshop. They said that we were having collaboration with international cooperation. They didn't see the vision. No, we have a tripartite relationship,
Right.
as Van Rick would have said. And he has want to endorse what he has said, and you and our colleagues. And we look forward to have a very productive workshop. Teachers, please come on time. Make sure you attend 80% and more
Right.
to get that certificate.
Yeah.
Build friends. It will be a time of reunion with some of your colleagues you haven't seen for a while. And we're going to feed you. We're going to refund you your transportation. So you don't have any reason
Right.
not to be there. But the most important part is that retooling, empowerment, and giving you the access to the strategies which we need to really produce quality teaching, quality learning.
Okay. Now, Brother Robbie, the ladies expounded and expanded and enticed us with the core areas, right? But you need to talk about the trade union aspect to the workshop. So
Yeah, well, the collective agreement is one thing. That is a legal document we have,
right.
which has our standards, the yardstick. That is what we use to make sure that the government of St. Vincent and Grenadines and the Ministry of Education make sure that they stay in line. We have to constantly remind them of what they have agreed to. So we are going to expose the participants in the workshop with that, so that you could also use that to inform yourself and your colleagues at the workplace.
Right.
We will be touching on the minimum wage, because as teachers we have to interface with other workers, and the teachers union is like a voice for the voiceless. That is why we always call on those other trade union leaders out there who not really representing the workers. We have to do that.
Right.
Because we are involved in public education, and that is part of our objective as a trade union, to look out for the fundamental rights and freedom, and to speak against injustices and inequalities, and we will continue to do so. And of course, we would be looking at rights, workers' rights, because the teacher is a worker and he has rights, and a lot of times teachers do not see themselves as workers.
Right.
But you are a worker, and we're going to touch on that, and any other areas which pension reform would be one, and then we're going to. You spoke about the day, the cultural day.
No, we wanted to surprise them. But
Oh, okay. So I let the cat out the bag.
Yes, you let the cat out of the bag. Yes.
But they don't know what we're talking about.
No, they don't know.
Probably, yeah. Okay. Let me leave it at that.
Yeah.
But it's important that
need to be there
you have to
because-
be there. You can't miss it, because we have been negotiating with CTF to come and be with us.
Right.
That is our main source of getting the kind of support that we need to assist the government, because it is really the government's responsibility for professional development of our members. So we enjoy this relationship, and we're asking our participants to come to show the high level of respect for your colleagues, for the facilitators, and we're going to enjoy ourselves with 2 great weeks of an experience.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So, folks, you heard it. The workshop is on from tomorrow. We have 2 full weeks running from the 14th to the 25th of July, and it is going to be 2 weeks well worth it. It's going to be worth your time, so you have to make sure that you come out, as Brother Robbie said, come on time, participate. And just like anything, just like any university course that you do, you must have at least 80% attendance. So yes, we have an attendance register. Yes, we're going to be taking attendance. And when we have our we have 1 or 2 special days planned in there for you. So Robbie let a kind of cat out the bag, and he wasn't really supposed to, but oh well, it happened. So, but it's okay. So we are at the end of another edition of Teachers Talk. Let me thank you lovely ladies first obviously. Let me thank you lovely ladies for being in studios with us, and we really appreciate it. We are looking forward to a productive and a successful 2 weeks. We are looking forward to memories, lots of pictures, lots of fun, lots of learning, obviously, and things to take back and reminisce. And when we get old and gray, but I'm going to stay 25 forever. When we get old and gray, we're going to remember, we had this workshop in 2025, and it was such fun, and the team members that came, they were so awesome, and different things like that. Let me also thank Brother Robbie and Brother Van Ryck. And Brother Van Ryck has been our course coordinator, course director for the last year. And this thing took a lot of planning, and we have to give Van Ryck his props, because he did all the planning and he did what he had to do and everything like that. Brother Robbie always supportive, always making sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's, and giving us that little bit of tidbit of history that we needed to remember to put things in place. We also want to thank our team and the executive, because it is an executive effort, so we have to thank all our executive members and our staff, our hard-working staff at the Teachers Union who have everything in place. So let me also thank our listening public, our listening audience, those of you listening on Boom FM, those of you listening on our Facebook Live feed. It's always a pleasure. I have to say a big shout out today to Javed. Javed is not in here, but Javed has been doing the camera thing behind the scenes in a different room, and Javed is so awesome right about now. He does everything. I mean, Javed is my best friend right now. I mean, it used to be Fuji and Van Ryck, but it's no longer. It's Javed. Javed is my best friend. Okay? And let me say thanks to Fuji. He is there. He came in and out making sure I figure out this console. I'm still figuring it out. I'll get there. But don't worry, I'll get there, right? So, folks, this has been another edition of Teachers Talk. This has been Season 5, Episode 8 of Teachers Talk. I am your host, Fiona Charles Williams, the PR of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union, saying good night, God bless, and have a productive week. We love you.
There you have it.